If you've been feeling overwhelmed or just off lately with your diet, maybe your meals feel like they're all over the place, workouts are feeling inconsistent, and you just can't seem to get into a rhythm, this video is for you. I'm going to show you exactly how to hit that go button again, but without the struggle. Most people think that getting back on track with nutrition means starting completely over, and this intense need to be perfect, and this just isn't the case, and you don't have to do everything all at once. Honestly, I see this over and over again as a nutrition coach, these like really kind of overhaul programs, these extreme approaches, while they can be really kind of motivating at first, that they often lead to this crash and burn simply because they're not sustainable. And then that typically will lead to that awful feeling of failure, and then we get stuck in that lose 5 pounds, gain 5 pounds cycle that is just so defeating. And I want to teach you how to break out of that cycle today. So I'm going to walk you through a more simple approach, a doable way to actually feel like you're getting back on track and that you can stay consistent and see results with your nutrition and your fitness. I'm a nutrition coach, but more than that, I really just love to help people see that they are wildly capable of reaching their goals, of learning about their body, of knowing how to fuel their bodies in a way that supports their goals, both their health and also their physique. You really are capable of this, and that's why I created this channel. I want to show you real things, truly, like the same things that I implement with my clients that you can do for yourself today, because I know how frustrating it is to feel stuck. So let's dive in. Okay, the best way to tackle this, the best way to feel like you're getting back on track with your nutrition, with your diet, whatever that is to start small. Okay, and I know that that's frustrating, and I know that that sounds oversimplistic, but it's also the best way. I've seen it over and over again. So what do I mean by that? Okay, this is the exact plan. This is what I want you to do. And if you need to get out a piece of paper, get it and write this down. I want you to get a calendar, all right? Let's pick a 30-day calendar. Now, honestly, a 60-day or a 90-day calendar would probably be better for this exercise, but for the purpose of getting you moving and feeling like you're getting some traction towards your goals, we're gonna go 30 days, okay? And what I want you to do is each week of those 30 days, which is going to be about 4 weeks plus a couple days change at the end, I want you to just pick 1 or 2 habits to start. If you're feeling incredibly overwhelmed, just pick one, all right? If you're feeling like you're in a little bit of a better place, maybe you can bite off a little bit more, pick 2. Now, the best way to pick where to start is probably to really analyze the biggest barriers that you have. For example, if you're someone who's always running around in a rush in the morning, a good habit for you to start with might be, I'm going to start my day with breakfast every day this week. And not just breakfast, but I'm going to make sure it has a ton of high quality protein, some carbohydrates and fats. I'm going to create some balance. And you're simply going to execute that in that first week. Now, I have this approach with clients, and a lot of times they get a little frustrated with me in the beginning because they're like, Coach, that's it? I'm ready for more. And I'm like, I know, and we're going to keep it simple this week, because the fact is, when we do that, while it can feel slow at first, what happens is, as we continue to layer things in 1 week at a time, 30 days is going to go by, and you're going to look back and you're going to be like, holy shit, look at everything that I've accomplished. So trust me, what feels like the slow way is actually the fastest way, because it's what keeps you moving. That sustainability factor is by far the most important thing when it comes to designing a successful lifestyle change or a diet. So we've got our calendar in front of us. That first week, I want you to take that blank calendar and I want you to just write in that 1, maybe 2 habits that you are going to implement that first week. You're going to write them in. And then what you're actually going to do is you're going to write them in for all 30 days of that calendar. Do it. Cross them off as you go. Now, in week 2, I want you to pick one more thing that you're going to add in. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's something focused on your sleep. Maybe it's something related to meal prep. But you're going to add that. So then in that second week, you've got a stack, right? You've got a few more things that you're added in. And in reality, I think what you're going to find is even after that second week, just 2 weeks in, you're going to be like, wow, these are some pretty good changes that I've created. But you're actually going to write them in on that calendar. We're going to do the same thing in week 3, or well, you are, okay? Because we're doing that this time. You're going to write it in. And so by week 3, you're going to have the week 1 habit or habits that you picked. You're going to have the week 2 habits that you picked. And you're going to add in your week 3. So by week 3, we're stacking all of those together. And it feels a lot more manageable than if at week 1, we decided to do all of this at once. We need a little bit of time to adjust with the busy schedules that most of us have. Now, if you dive into this and you're like, I get where you're going with this, coach, but it still feels a little bit unmanageable for me, you don't have to go at this pace. Maybe you get a 60-day calendar. All right, you put 2 month-long calendars in front of you and you build new habits once every 2 weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks. Or you could just say, hey, I'm going to execute this habit until it starts to feel simple, and then I'm going to build a new one in. And if you continue in this fashion for a month, 2 months, you are going to make some massive changes. And when I say massive, I mean massive towards your goals, and in a way that you can keep doing them, that you've learned to build them in to the busiest times of your life. Now, if you're sitting there and you're listening to this and you're like, I get where you're going with this, I'm intrigued, but I really don't know what to pick or where to start, I've got you. I actually have a 30-day Kickstart, and this is the literal exact approach that I take, except I pick the habits for you. So they're embedded in there. There's actually a calendar that you can print where you can cross these habits off as you go. And I've picked the ones that I know just move the needle the best for people. And there's all kinds of free resources in there, guides. There's over 300 recipes in there to keep you going. And if you get what I'm saying conceptually, but you feel like you just need a little extra support, that's why I created the Kickstart program. There's a link in the description. Check it out, all of the details in there. I actually got super pumped when I was creating this and put so many resources in there, stuff that I include a lot with my one-on-one clients. Get in there, check it out if this sounds exciting to you. All of it's done for you. It's this exact framework that I know gets success, but I've put in the habits for you to do in there, so you don't have to think about it. Now, if you don't quite feel ready for that, here's where I would suggest that you start. Your week 1 habits, focus in on your food and just focus on getting some balanced meals in, all right? So your week 1 focus might be, and this is the week 1 focus that I do with my Kickstart program and with my clients, is just to create 3 balanced meals a day plus a high protein stack. If you do that and you ensure that each of those meals contain a really great source of both vitamins and minerals, or your micronutrients, and also the macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fats that your body needs, you are going to be set up to create some very balanced days without even tracking your foods. Trust me on that. I actually have a really great free resource. It's fantastic. It's called the Ultimate Meal Prep Guide. I've linked that in the description below. Check that out. That has got a lot of great information in there. I won't go into it today, but it's going to say, hey, here's how to create that balanced meal. Here's some foods that you can pick, sample meal plans, all of that in there. Check it out. I've made it for you. I'm a little biased, but it's good. It's hot in my office. I'm sweating. Sorry. So this is really, truly all that you have to do. Most of the time, the simpler that we can keep lifestyle change, the more beneficial it's going to be, the more likely it's going to stick. A lot of times I'll have clients say, I just need to wait until I get through baseball season, or I need to wait till I get through this school year, or whatever that kind of busy season of life is, when in reality, the busiest seasons of life are when we actually need to dive into this stuff, because those are the skills, right? Knowing how to do it when life is really busy, those are the skills that we need to keep things going long term, to stay consistent whenever things get a little bit crazy. So I always tell people, dive in when it feels the craziest, because if you can learn to put those things together, then you can put them together all of the time. And the way to do that, and I can't emphasize this enough, is to create changes one at a time, right? Maybe 2 at a time, depending on how we're feeling. But when we do that, we're able to layer things in without them feeling like massively complicated, or like they're taking a ton of time or a ton of energy. It may actually feel quite simple, annoyingly simple at first, and that's fantastic. Sustainability is the biggest factor when it comes to long-term results. Sustainable. It doesn't always have to feel necessarily easy, but it should feel doable. If this is helpful for you at all, if any of this resonates with you, hit subscribe, follow along. This is my goal truly in this channel, is to provide you with the resources that you need that you can start. Like today, just dive in. Don't wait for the perfect time, just dig in. And my goal is to provide you with all of the information that you need, that you feel like you can this. You can do this on your own. You are quite capable of knowing and understanding all of the things that you need to know to be successful. It's just figuring out how to put it together in a way that's going to keep you going long term. And you can do that. And that's my goal for you. Again, in the description, there's a link both to my Kickstart program. If you're like, sign me up, I'm ready to dig in, but I need a little bit more support. And then also my free meal prep guide will help you massively. It's so good. All right. So check them out in there. I made it for you. I hope you have a beautiful day. I love to hear from people. If you're tackling some of this on your own and you need an accountability partner to say, hey, this is how it's going, comment below. I will respond. I love to hear what's working well for people, what's not, where you need some extra support. We'll see you soon.